What's going on, everybody? It's your boy GP. We back at it again with another interview. Listen, this time I had to come all the way to Atlanta, so I had to fly down to come do this interview with the #1 stunner himself, Marcel. Man, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, man. Listen, great host, 10 out of 10. Marcel owns a fitness and wellness program, Fit.C.F, where he does stretching, meditation. What else?
We got fitness. We got coaching.
Yeah, I was about to say it comes with a variety of things, so that's why I want to get into it and ask Marcel. So that's the first question there. So describe Fit.C.F for us, and then how did you come about with creating Fit.C.F?
Appreciate it. Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me on. It really does. It's really cool. It's one of the first few interviews I've been on.
Word.
One of many to come.
That's right.
Fit.C.F basically started out as really the main goal for Fit.C.F is movement is medicine. The main goal is to continue to push people to be moving, to make sure they live healthier lifestyles. So my main goal, that's my main purpose behind it, and that's why we kind of started Fit.C.F. It is now personally grown from not only just fitness, but now we kind of branched out into meditation and it's stretching. And that's kind of the birth of Fit.C.F as a company. So we've been a company for 4 years, and
Nice.
we've been doing well, slowly growing and getting into more and different places. We're now recently just touched corporate wellness, started getting into that, and been working in coaching different athletes for quite some time. So that's kind of the gist of Fit.C.F from a 10,000 foot view, and then we can go deeper wherever you want to go.
Fair enough. So how important would you say meditation is to day-to-day life and being an athlete as well? Because it seems like in this climate that we're in, people have a lot of mental fatigue. You know, people are, there's how people quit their jobs. A recent study just showed that people actually use their PTO not to take vacations, but to literally just stay home and go to sleep. So how important would you say meditation is day-to-day life and being an athlete?
Well, if we start with day-to-day life and kind of going into work and corporate and things of that sort, majority of people that are in corporate America are adults that may have kids. Maybe if you don't have kids, you've got life, you've got adult type things that go on. But a lot of times what we don't do is we don't take care of ourselves.
Yep.
And when we say that, there is a balance that needs to happen. And of course, when you're dealing with certain things such as work, business, family, and all these other things, typically you'll find that people find themselves last. You know, you may find a vice, whatever it may be. Maybe alcohol, maybe drugs, maybe whatever. But a lot of times these vices are not like the root of the cause, or the cause that's really making yourself get into a really bad situation. So I would say that meditation is extremely important to really find where you want to go. A lot of people have a negative connotation, especially when it comes to calling it meditation. A lot of people may have religious things that say, hey, you can't do meditation, but they'll substitute the word meditation for prayer. So however you may look at it and kind of may fits for you, it's really just taking time for yourself to be still. Those things are, there's a quote that I like to kind of go over there is, when the water and the waves are very rocky and moving a lot, you can't see the bottom of a clear pool or whatever it may be.
That makes sense.
When things are still, you can be very clear and you can look down to the bottom and you can see what is the thing that I'm actually trying to get. So it really is just slowing yourself down and making sure that you got your mind focused on where you want to go. It's not much, there's a lot of other practices and how they do it, and how others do it and want to go into it. But my main thing is, can you just slow down and just get refocused on what you really want?
Take that moment for yourself.
There it is.
Word.
Time to pause.
That's it. So what do you think about athletes of any sports? But I say any sports because Marcel, like he said, he trains. He didn't really say, but he trains tennis. So that's how I know Marcel. We used to both train kids in tennis, but Marcel, elevated it and not only teaches tennis, but he also puts the wellness into teaching tennis, because come to find out, most of the highest players in tennis have 7 different coaches, and one of the coaches is a wellness coach, a coach that can help them slow things down, reflect. So not just from a psychological standpoint, but mental,
Yeah.
physically, all
Absolutely.
of those things to just slow down to make sure that the body is good. So what tips and advice, you don't have to go too deep, but what tips and advice would you give athletes when it comes to meditating?
I mean, if you talk to any coach of whatever sport you're in, anybody that's been in athletics, anybody that's played or competed at a higher level, majority of people use the metrics of sports are anywhere between 70 to 90% of the actual sport. Playing at a high level is really a mental aspect. There's a physical aspect of it. There's a playing at a high level, competing at a high level, thriving at a high level. There's when you get to a certain level of whatever sport you're at, there are some people who are physically more gifted.
Yeah.
But you've always heard people that just work harder. Those people that are just working more. When you're sleeping, somebody else is working.
Yep.
They're tired. Their body's hurt, but their mental is different. Their focus is different. Their drive is different. These different types of things of being clear, again, as I was saying, if you can see what is my purpose behind this, and I'm driving to push for something that's bigger than me,
Yeah.
or I'm driving to push for something that's truly deep within me, that is enough for me to focus a little bit harder, enough for me to push through whatever, enough for me to not go out and stay in and rest, or enough for me not to go out and eat. This guy, I don't know if he was talked a whole lot about it, but when he was doing his bodybuilding, he did bodybuilding. It was a lot of that stuff.
They might not know that about me. I haven't told them yet.
No, I ain't told
It's been
that.
a while.
Hey, news flash. This man's out here doing a whole lot of stuff, but that mental focus to be able to lock in and do things, even though you may not want to, you have a goal in mind.
Yeah.
The meditation is really just kind of how do I clear up and focus myself. Things are going to get hard. Things are going to be difficult. Things are going to be challenging. That's life. It's supposed to be challenging. It's supposed to be hard, especially if you're pushing to do something that is
beyond you.
Yeah, beyond you.
In the time.
Yeah, so definitely. So meditation is a very, very good, powerful motive to keep you focused, keep you locked in on what is the main thing. Is the main thing still the main thing, or does it change? And if it does, that's perfectly fine, but know it. And be able to be able to move, because again, like you were saying about in corporate, maybe you're stuck in something, and 10 years later you're miserable, and you never slowed down to kind of reassess what phase am I in life. You could say the same thing in sports. You never reassessed what phase am I in this sport. Does it mean this much to me?
Yeah.
Do I want to continue to work this hard for this?
Very true.
And so those are the major things that kind of keep people refocused, or just kind of reignite yourself. Like, I know I want this, but I'm losing that energy. I need to refocus. So yeah,
that's a fact. I'm not gonna lie. Long story short, for myself, when it comes to powerlifting, that's what I'm trying to figure out myself. Right now I'm locked in mentally. That I got a five month program that I want to do, that I'm doing, and I'm gonna go from there and see what happens. But it was just crazy scrolling through old videos. A couple months ago, they didn't give me the same feel, but this time when I scrolled through, looking at the caption that I put, and I'm like, man, I went through a lot, and now I'm trying to like reignite myself to keep going forward. Yeah. And then one of the things for me to segue into it, because with fitness and wellness comes nutrition as well.
Absolutely.
So what would you say you do on a day-to-day that has to do with nutrition, and then what nutrition advice would you give to people?
Day to day, I am pretty conscious about what I wouldn't say. Let me be clear. I am not a super micro watching, weighing type person. I'm aware of what I'm eating. I'm aware of how much I'm eating, but I'm also aware of creating a balance. My whole company is about, again, making sure people are living a healthy lifestyle and having a balance. And one of the things that I do is ensure that I enjoy what's going on, enjoy my food, enjoy what's going on, to make sure that personally, individually, I'm not trying to perform as a professional athlete. I'm not asking my body to do that as a professional athlete. I'm trying to perform at the very best that I can while I enjoy the time that I am with my friends, with my family.
Yep.
So if that means I'm going out and I am conscious about once a month, I eat raw vegan for 3 days to allow myself to be able to go and say, hey, this following weekend I'm gonna go ahead and get, whatever I want to eat. I'll do that to cleanse my body.
Nice.
I'll do things such as that. I'll pick a week where I won't eat meat or something of that sort. And not to say that anything's wrong with meat, because I absolutely eat meat. But I'm just saying, how do I
try to find that balance?
Cleanse my body.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm doing things that are going to be healthy for my body, healthy for my cells.
Yep.
Understanding that my cells got to operate at a higher thing and not just overdoing anything. I would say for athletes is against finding the balance, making sure that you're putting in the proper nutrition, hydration, eating proteins, your carbs, whatever sport
Healthy
that you're
fats.
doing, all these different types of things, making sure that you're putting yourself in the best possible situation for you to perform.
What would you say? Because now we got to balance this conversation. Now give everybody a little bit of something.
Mm-hmm.
What's one peak nutritional advice would you give athletes, and what's one peak nutritional value or importance would you give people living day-to-day lives that like you just said are not trying to deadlift 500 pounds, squat 400? They just want to live. They just want to make sure by 70 they're still able to move.
Okay, I would say nutritional.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna bend that. I'm gonna have one for both, and it's rest.
Mm-hmm.
That's one for both. It's not necessarily nutrition, but rest. Making sure that your rest is getting as much rest as you possibly can. That's feasible for your lifestyle. You know? Sometimes you can't necessarily rest due to life situations. You just gotta do what you gotta do, and I understand it. But I would say rest would be one of them. And I would say another huge one that a lot of people kind of skip out and try to use these substitutes for both. Drink water. Drink water. I mean, I'm not gonna make this thing complicated because it really isn't. It isn't complicated. It's just consistency.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing I do appreciate about Marcel. He does not like. I don't want to say cookie cutter, but if he can make it so that 1 + 1 = 2,
there we go.
He's gonna make it 1 + 1 = 2. That way, we all know you get what you're supposed to get.
That's
so
it.
A lot of people do make things complicated where they want to buy this powder that they saw online, the sugar thing they found over here, low sugar this. No. Marcel makes it clear cut so that you get to the gusto and you're able to do it and accomplish your goal and what you're trying to do, which is very important because most people don't finish or accomplish things because
ain't no shortcuts to success.
It's too complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another thing I wanted to lead into as well. How important would you say is rest? Or that, and then like, I would say, what's your recommendation for people in getting rest? Like 10, make sure they get 10 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 2 hours.
I would say everybody is definitely different when it comes around to that. Studies have shown that some people can function properly off of like 5 hours of sleep.
Yep.
Some people can't. Some people have to have 8. Some people have to have a little bit more depending on their body and depending on how it goes. I would definitely say making sure that you are paying attention to what your body's doing, because everything's individual. Even when you come with these studies, I don't care what you read, everybody has an individual what works for them, and that's one of the things that I definitely want to make sure that people are going. Listen to your body. Again, slow down, meditate, take time to be able to do a body scan, figure out what's going on. And again, you don't have to be a professional to say, "Ooh, my back hurts."
Yeah.
And I was lifting 500 pounds yesterday, and my back hurts, and I wonder why my back hurts. It's like, no, bro, you was doing something, and you put some stress on it, and you need to give it rest, and you need to sit down and allow yourself that time to kind of take in that information about, okay, what is going on. So if we're talking about rest, how much activity are you doing? Are you an extremely active person? Do you have that amount of activity plus work on top of it plus a family? So now you got to say, all right, cool. How do I schedule myself out in a good amount of time to be able to say, when do I need to actually shut it down where I can give the energy that I need to give to all aspects of my life? Because you may not have kids. You may have an extremely stressful job where you've got to do all this and you got 3, 4, 5 kids over there. So it's like, all right, cool. Well, what do I need to do as an adult to plan and give myself the necessities that I need to do? Is that 5 hours? Can I function off 5 hours? When I did sleep 5 hours, was I functional? Was I irritable? Was I able to do it? Did I had brain fog? Was I able to execute on the things that I set out for myself in a month's time when I was doing that? I mean, again, or you can go pay for a professional. And a lot of this stuff that I'm saying is self-reflection. It is that meditation. It is that time that you just go and think to yourself and really analyze what's going on. Some people don't want to face it, and some people want to go ahead and find somebody else to do it for them. But when you say that and ask that question, how much sleep should it get? Individual.
Okay.
I would
but
say
you got to make sure you get some rest.
Studies show 8 hours is where we're supposed to be as a human race.
Yeah.
Again, others don't. A lot of people that don't have that time use naps.
That's true
I've
too.
heard of a lot of people that use naps. They have 15, 20 naps. Maybe they have 2 or 3 naps during the day. Maybe they can only get about 3 hours, 4 hours of sleep a night. And then they have time frames where they set out and they do a 20-minute nap here, another 20-minute nap there, 5-minute nap here. You know, it's how what works for you and your schedule.
That's it. I do think people brush past the what works for you and try really hard to lead into the 8 hours, then get frustrated because they can't get the 8 hours. But like you said, breaking it down with a nap here and there, it adds up over time. What would you say to before we wrap up the next couple of steps for the company, man? Where do you see the company going from here?
Beautiful. Appreciate that. So currently we are working inside of the corporate space. We've been working with athletes for quite some time, and now we were doing kind of individual work with people in small groups. I guess you could say I started out in the corporate space.
Yeah.
Started out in the corporate space, kind of branched out, did my own thing, but now trying to bring myself into more corporations. So for kind of these new times that are here, there is a lot of employees that are suffering with the new times when it comes to AI, when it comes to job security, when it comes to all these different types of things. Some people are losing their jobs and they have these mental things that financial stressors that they got going on. Some people are retaining their jobs but gaining more work. Mm-hmm. So inside of the corporate side, you have, if we have good people, and if you are that good person, how do we keep them?
Yep.
And corporations, in my opinion, are going to have to give more services that are going to allow them to keep them there. Or do you actually care? We speak about the millennials and everybody that comes back here, Gen Zs and all these other people are caring more about their mental and physical health than the past generations or the generations before us. And so corporations are going to have to start doing that, especially as you start deleting people and start utilizing AI. You're going to have less people, and these people are going to be, unfortunately, some of them may be overworked. Some of them may have a lot of pressure inside of them. How do we keep that talent here? If we are giving them the proper time to pause, proper time to kind of reassess, proper time to go in there, and if you can guide it in a safe space and facilitate it, they'll be much more happy to come in there. So that's the space that I'm kind of stepping into. That's the kind of problem that I see that is coming in the future, and that's where Fit.C.F is really trying to direct ourselves and our focus into, can we insert ourselves into that space? Can we solve that problem? Can we be that problem solver? Well, we know that we can solve the problem. Can we get more and more people to come into, join us? Yeah,
that makes sense, because the more you take care of yourself physically, the better you are, physically and mentally.
Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of that has to be balanced. You gotta make
Captain
sure.
Planet.
There it is. He's our hero.
That's
take
it.
Pollution down to zero.
That's
but
it.
It's like we gotta definitely start looking at things, and people have been saying this for generations. I'm not brand new. This isn't reinventing the wheel. People have been talking about holistic health for a long way before. If you talk about, way back to all the ancestors and things of that sort, holistic health. We go back to the origins of America, with the Native Americans. Even when you're talking about the slaves and a lot of this is holistic health.
Yeah,
it is really connecting inside of here. Industrialization, all these other things that we've done inside of here have really shifted the balance, and you see it. You could see it. You see all the crazy things that are kind of going on, And, you know, people are talking about mental health, but a lot of it is just an imbalance.
Well, to wrap it up, what's one stretch you think everyone should do that will get them through the day? Or you know, if they had, because Marcel's class is in the beginning. I should have just had you describe it, but it's all good. It's 15 minutes of sitting still with yourself, and then the rest of the class is a stretch, and then there's breathing at the end. So I find a lot of balance from the stretching, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I only stretch when I'm at the gym, and I need to stretch more when I'm at home. So what's one stretch that you think everyone should do that will get them through the day-to-day while they're moving around, or if they have to sit down all day at work?
Well, yeah, definitely. Well,
if they go to the gym, feel a little stiff, what's one stretch you think everyone should do?
I mean, well, I'd go there, but yeah, we do Monday through Friday, 7 to 7:30, 7 to 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We there unless I say I ain't gonna be there. But yeah, we do that Monday through Friday. We've been doing it for the past 4.5 years. And kind of moving off it, and exactly how I explained it, the main thing is basically touch all those bases. Sit with yourself, move your body, and then get your breath together, ready to go through the day. One stretch that happens, I would say, in any person I'm just going to go with, from an athlete to a person in corporations to a person that is aging. This is going to encompass everybody. You got to work your hips. Opening the knees up and moving your hips. Open your knees up as wide as you possibly can. Push those hips forward. Push the bottom backwards, forward and backwards. Opening your hips are going to be one of the major things that go over. People that sit in chairs, you got your hip flexors and your quads that are typically tight, and they lead to lower back pain. So if you do sit around in your chair a whole lot, going over there, stretching the quads, grabbing your foot, standing up, grabbing your foot, pulling it up towards your bottom, and pushing your hip forward. Those are two different things you can do. Again, opening the hips on your knees, open your knees up as far as you can, push your hips towards the ground. Big stretches that kind of come over that. I gave y'all two.
Hey, it doesn't matter. We'll take them all, baby. Believe that. Listen, what I'm gonna do is we're definitely gonna leave a link to everything Marcel has going on. You know, before we wrap up, if you don't mind telling the people where they can reach you.
Absolutely.
Instagram, Facebook.
You can find me on Instagram at Fit.C.F. Again, that's FIT.C.F. You can find me at Fit-CF.com. You guys can find me in those different places. We're going to continue to grow, push things a little bit further. So those are two main handles that I got going on. And then you can find me on LinkedIn at Marcel Harley. So yeah,
I'll put a link to all of that in the description. Please feel free to reach out to him. He is fine to answer some of your questions, whatever you may have, or whatever more information you want to find out about. Just reach out to him. He's the homie, definitely, for sure. So he gonna hook you up. And if he doesn't contact me, I'll contact him. He definitely gonna contact you.
Let's get it.
We'll go for there. So again, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you.
For having me.
I appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Hey.